Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star 2, Land of Origin based on novel. So let's start. Flame Wind Ancient Country, Chu Capital. Finally, I'm not poor anymore. Luo Feng stood inside the guest elder cave mansion, in quite a good mood. Before exploring the dream domain, he was indeed a bit poor. A guest elder has very few merit points, and as for cosmic sand, the value of cosmic sand is too low. The 300 billion units of cosmic sand used for the Desert Wind City Lord to redeem himself in the Thunder Ancient Country's transcendence of primal chaos realm only equates to 1 million merit points. In the treasure trove Infinite Space, the tens of thousands of reward points are indeed precious, but Luo Feng is saving these points to exchange for the God King's Second Realm section of the special grade inheritance. After all, although resources are important, a special grade inheritance is even more critical. It's very difficult to obtain reward points in infinite space, and each expenditure must be considered even more carefully. Over 80 million merit points is enough for me to be extravagant. Luo Feng immediately left the cave mansion and went directly to the palace of Emperor Chu to meet his master. Inside the palace of Emperor Chu was deeply immersed in his cultivation. A dark and colossal phantom appeared, emanating an endless aura of destruction. The complete Great Tao of Destruction origin. Trying to fully comprehend it is truly too difficult. Emperor Chu opened his eyes. He had experienced too long a torment and always felt he was only a little bit away, but that little bit forever blocked his path. Unlike those who practiced the primordial bloodline, Emperor Chu, using treasures to cultivate into an ultimate realm life form, was not influenced by bloodline will and could maintain absolute clarity to comprehend the Tao. To date, I've realized 5 ultimate realm secret techniques, and my accumulation is profound enough, cogitated Emperor Chu. Among the emperors, I can rank within the top 5. Yet I cannot break through. Only by mastering the complete Tao can I continue to stay on the land of origin in the next era. Emperor Chu understood this point. The threshold for leaving the land of origin is to become an ultimate realm life form. Even if the land of origin undergoes destruction, they can continue to live in the outer realms. But leaving the land of origin, without the protection of the home source world, the living conditions would be harsher by 1,000 to 10,000 times. The environment for the ancestors of the 2 countries outside is just such a perilous and severe one. Only staying on the land of origin, to withstand the destruction and rebirth of the land of origin, would then be recognized by the supreme rules of the land of origin as a native life of the new era. But to withstand the entire process of destruction and rebirth of the source world, one must realize a complete Tao. Thus, in the last era, only the East Extreme Domain ancestor and the 2 countries' ancestors, these 3 survived into this era. Those who relied on external forces to cultivate into ultimate realm life forms are still alive in part, but have long left the land of origin. The protection of the home source world is very important. I must comprehend a complete Tao. Emperor Chu also had ambitions. The godly kings of the royal family in the 2 ancient countries all have desires. Their first step is to become emperors and monarchs. On one hand, they have the qualifications to leave the land of origin and can live a long time. On the other hand, their strength and status increase, gaining more resources. The second step is to master the complete Tao. In this era of the 2 ancient countries, only Emperor Qing has achieved this. Di Fu, not hesitating to be reborn and giving up the cultivation of the primordial bloodline, aimed to achieve this goal. Emperor Chu looked outside. His disciple Luo Feng had already arrived at the entrance of the hall. Master, Luo Feng greeted respectfully from outside. Come in, Emperor Chu smiled, very satisfied with Luo Feng as a disciple. Already possessing achievements that surpass history in the first realm of Godly King, he looked forward to his disciple's future accomplishments. If the disciple is powerful, he might also be able to help his master. Luo Feng immediately stepped into the grand hall. I heard you've recently established a sect, Blade River Sect, Emperor Chu said with a smile. It gives ordinary cultivators more cultivation opportunities, said Luo Feng. He indeed didn't care much. At his level, even if the sect was powerful, what benefit would it bring to him? Even if it was incredibly significant and cultivated 3 or 5 godly kings, how would it matter? Luo Feng himself could easily create hundreds of powerful avatars. The path of cultivation is such, the stronger your power, the less significant the number of the weak becomes. Master, I came today to inquire if there's a way to purchase the 5-colored treasure medicine, Luo Feng said. 5-colored treasure medicine? Emperor Chu's eyes lit up and he smiled. I've used this 5-colored treasure medicine before, the effects are excellent. A portion of 5-colored treasure medicine is valued at 10 million merit points. Can you afford it now? The disciple's time in cultivation is quite short to have accumulated such wealth. There are not many merit points from being a guest elder, Luo Feng said, but by chance, I did obtain some treasures that could be exchanged. No big deal. I can buy it for you, Emperor Chu said, but the imperial clan has its rules. When the royal family exchanges for treasures, they must use them on themselves. If exchanged and traded with the outside world, the exchange price and the guest elder's exchange price are the same, and this is also to prevent the god kings of the royal family from emptying the treasure trove. Luo Feng nodded. As long as there's a price difference, the god kings of the royal family acting as traders could make a huge profit. Obviously, the 2 ancient countries had long closed this possibility. The 5-colored treasure medicine is scarce. I can help you buy at most 2 portions, Emperor Chu said. Each portion is also 10 million merit points. Thank you, Master, Luo Feng rejoiced. The 5-colored treasure medicine, such a level of treasure, a guest elder could exchange for it only once in their lifetime, and even that required sufficient contributions. As an emperor, Emperor Chu could now buy at most 2 portions. If Luo Feng were outside, the price he feared would be much greater. This 5-colored treasure medicine was crafted from the heart of a sector beast beyond godly king level, combined with other materials. Once consumed, it's as if it becomes a part of the great Tao of destruction origin, greatly benefiting cultivation, Emperor Chu said. Sector beast beyond godly king level. Luo Feng was curious. In the land of origin, only the sector beast from the Qianmu kingdom is at the ultimate realm of god king. Of course, the sector beast beyond a godly king isn't from our source world. Emperor Chu didn't hide it from Luo Feng. I once asked the ancestor about this, and he told me the story. It comes from another source world, an incredibly powerful catastrophe beast that had broken the limits of fate and cultivated beyond the level of god king. After leaving its source world, cultivation wasn't easy, so it used its own heart and some materials to craft the 5-colored treasure medicine. The ancestor bought some and left it in the imperial clan, Emperor Chu said, for that sector beast, using its heart for alchemy, it could cultivate it back with some time. Luo Feng was astonished. The sector beast crafted the 5-colored treasure medicine itself. How difficult is it to kill a sector beast beyond the godly king level and still preserve the entire corpse? The huge price one pays, and even if the treasures were created, would it be your turn? Emperor Chu smiled. It was that very sector beast that crafted it itself, and in large quantities too, selling them to the ancestors. That's why the prices are relatively low, and you can afford it. Luo Feng nodded. That sector beast had it tough. It broke the limits of fate, becoming beyond a god king, yet it still had to use its own body for alchemy. The body of a sector beast is very special, fitting extremely well with the great Tao of destruction origin. The more powerful the sector beast, the more valuable its bodily material, Emperor Chu said. That sector beast beyond the godly king its heart, blood, and bones, everything could be turned into treasures aiding cultivation. Actually, the 5-colored treasure medicine is just the most well-known treasure aiding the great Tao of destruction origin, Emperor Chu said. There are even better aiding treasures that I once used. Better ones? Luo Feng's heart stirred. Boundary Beast Blood Talisman. Emperor Chu said, also personally crafted by that pioneering sector beast beyond the godly king, using its own blood to make the command token. One token costs 1 billion merit points. Once used, it can temporarily condense a complete great Tao of destruction origin within one's body. One token lasts about 3 epochs. Luo Feng was startled. You prepare 1 billion merit points worth of treasures, and I will buy you one, Emperor Chu grinned. My cultivation is of the great Tao of destruction origin, so I still have the qualifications to exchange for one more. Okay, Luo Feng nodded repeatedly. As your mentor, I know, this is the best treasure aiding the great Tao of destruction origin, Emperor Chu said. Want better? You'll probably have to find the ancestor. That's already great, Luo Feng was excited. Before this, he didn't know about the Boundary Beast Blood Talisman. People say I'm not good at teaching disciples. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng. I'm aware of my limitations, indeed not skilled at instructing disciples. Luo Feng, you transcended the primal chaos realm, and are absolutely the first in the first realm of godly king, not because of my teachings, but because your own talent is high enough. As your mentor, the most I can do is to help you as much as possible with resources, Emperor Chu said. Of course, you still need to provide the treasure yourself. Your mentor here is quite poor too. Luo Feng laughed. The great Tao of destruction origin, you need these treasures. What about the great Tao of life origin, the origin Tao of matter? Emperor Chu asked, what treasures do you need? Can I help with anything? Luo Feng was moved. Because he could always directly confront the complete great Tao of life origin, on this path, Luo Feng had indeed walked much further than the great Tao of destruction origin, having already started experimenting with integrating branches of the Tao. Master, I also need materials from the 24 forms, Luo Feng said. Not much, just a little flesh and scales. Is there a way to purchase them? 24 forms. Emperor Chu frowned slightly. 24 forms is one of the many forms presented after reaching the ultimate realm of the life origin great Tao. This particular form is quite special. Luo Feng listened. Beings with primordial bloodline life bred within the land of origin have very powerful life forms, Emperor Chu said. Though their intelligence is low, those of primal chaos realm levels of primordial bloodline life, even the ones with the thinnest bloodline, could manifest 10-direction world life form. Luo Feng nodded, having collected some materials while he garrisoned Xiangjie city. As for those with richer bloodlines, those at the first realm of godly king level of primordial bloodline creatures, I haven't heard of any with the 24 forms, Emperor Chu said. At the second realm level, it's extremely rare. At the ultimate realm of god king level of primordial bloodline creatures, the life forms are extremely powerful, many go beyond the 24 forms. As for those beyond god king, they are true primordial life forms, existences that have escaped the braided cage, Emperor Chu said. Luo Feng nodded. Primordial bloodline creatures generally have the characteristics of extremely high life essence, low intelligence, low realm, thus they can only unleash very little of their body's potential. Like true primordial life forms beyond God King, they clearly are beings that have escaped the braided cage. But the strength they can demonstrate might not necessarily be comparable with the ancestors of two ancient countries. Ultimate realm of God King level primordial bloodline creatures are strictly guarded by the two ancient countries, absolutely not disclosed. Emperor Chu looked at Luo Feng, because extracting their bloodline makes becoming an emperor or monarch much easier. Unless you have treasures that even the ancestors fancy, allowing the ancestors to make an exception for you, Emperor Chu said, We, these emperors and monarchs, have no rights to give them to you, not even a drop of blood. Luo Feng understood. Primordial bloodline creatures at the second realm of Godly King, theoretically, are the best primordial bloodlines a guest elder could obtain, Emperor Chu said, but the threshold is extremely high. I only need a small amount of material, Luo Feng said. I will find a way to see what cost it takes to get some materials, Emperor Chu said, but I advise you to start with Thunder Ancient Country. In cultivating primordial bloodline creatures, Thunder Ancient Country is more skilled than our Flame Wind Ancient Country, and they have more in number, making it easier to obtain. Luo Feng nodded. Master, how much do you estimate it would cost to buy some materials for the 24 forms life form? This life form with the primordial bloodline is extremely valuable, a single portion of a refined complete bloodline, for a Kuching God King exchange in the Flame Wind Ancient Country. It requires 1 billion merit points, Emperor Chu said. As for a small amount of materials, they generally don't sell in small quantities. Even Thunder Ancient Country would not sell them in pieces. Luo Feng said, I do not need to refine a complete bloodline, what I need is to comprehend the life form. A partial corpse would be enough for me, is that possible? A complete corpse can be refined into 3 to 5 portions of complete bloodlines, depending on the refining capability, Emperor Chu said. If you do not need to refine, they can directly sell you 1/3 of a corpse, saving the cost of refining as well. Luo Feng understood. 1/3 of a corpse of a primordial bloodline creature, with the 24 forms life form costs 1 billion merit points. For beings like the Emperor of Tianquan and the Master of the Shi Kingdom, amassing treasures to gather 1 billion merit points is also extremely difficult. Because with each adventure, it's uncertain when one might fail, and if the true body dies, there would be a considerable loss. 1 billion merit points is too high. It's the highest exchange level for a Kuching God King, Emperor Chu said. In Thunder Ancient Country, you only need 600 million merit points, which is much cheaper. I understand, Luo Feng nodded and smiled. It's all very far from me. I can't afford them for now. These materials were very important to Luo Feng. Without these materials, Luo Feng could only construct the 24 forms life form with divine power, and the power would be much less. But if he got the materials and peered into their essence, changing into them with the formless and intangible, he himself could have the physical body of a God King second realm primordial bloodline creature. Those primordial bloodline creatures did not utilize their physical potential fully. In Luo Feng's hands, who clearly comprehended the essence of physical life forms, he could naturally unleash their full potential. Even if his physical body's strength was slightly inferior to an ultimate realm life form, the difference would not be much. I haven't even comprehended the first of my 24 forms yet, so there's no hurry. Luo Feng also had patience. The essence must be clearly comprehended to transform with formless and intangible. Moreover, formless and intangible had one limitation. When Luo Feng became a godly king, and his body merged with the supreme rules, he realized that formless and intangible could only transform matter born within the source world. If it went beyond the range of the supreme rules, formless and intangible could not change. And these primordial bloodline creatures were indeed native creatures of the land of origin, bred and cultivated from true primordial life bloodlines by the 2 ancient countries through successive dilutions over generations. Here are 2 vials of 5-colored treasure medicine, take good care of them. Suddenly, Emperor Chu stretched out his hand, and 2 black bottles appeared with swirling liquid within. Treasures worth 20 million merit points. I haven't even prepared. Luo Feng was surprised at his master's swift action. Whenever you are ready, just give them to me, Emperor Chu said indifferently. Luo Feng immediately took them. With your many avatars, a reminder, Emperor Chu said, the 5-colored treasure medicine must be consumed by your true body. If a weak avatar takes it, then the effects of the medicine will only influence that weak avatar. I understand, Luo Feng nodded. You've been a godly king for so long now. Haven't you claimed that extermination of 72 blades and 8 tribulations life form God King's second realm inheritance? Emperor Chu asked, because this was his promised gift to Luo Feng. Once Luo Feng claimed it, the merit points would be automatically deducted from Emperor Chu. Emperor Chu naturally knew that Luo Feng had not yet claimed the inheritance. I know you went to infinite space, because in the infinite space treasure vault, you saw better special grade inheritances, and even perfect inheritances. So you were not in a hurry for extermination of 72 blades, and 8 tribulations life form. Emperor Chu shook his head, but an inheritance isn't necessarily better, because it's higher class. The higher class ones are harder to cultivate. More importantly, the higher the class of the inheritance, the more reward points they cost in the infinite space treasure vault. To exchange for a first realm special grade inheritance as a godly king is possible, but the second realm section would be around 3,000 reward points, and the ultimate realm would require about 60,000 reward points. It's very difficult to earn reward points in the infinite space. Even if you open up a new great Tao that reaches the first realm of godly king, you are only rewarded with 10,000 reward points. Emperor Chu said with emotion. The ultimate realm section of a special grade inheritance can be seen, but how many can afford to exchange for it? Luo Feng immediately understood a lot of information. Opening a branch of the Great Tao, 10,000 reward points. As an identity with the primal chaos realm and spiritual will reaching the ultimate realm of godly king, he, too, had received 10,000 reward points. But just to exchange for an ultimate realm section of a special grade inheritance needs about 60,000 reward points. Upper class inheritance is more accessible to obtain, Emperor Chu said. At least it's a clear path to the ultimate realm. Disciple understands. I will go claim the 2 inheritances right away, Luo Feng responded. That day, Luo Feng first went to the inheritance palace to claim that extermination of 72 blades and 8 tribulations life form God King's second realm sections, and also delivered treasures worth 20 million merit points to his master. Emperor Chu immediately recognized that these treasures came from the dream domain, and he smiled without saying anything. Asterisk 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 asterisk. In the quiet room of the city owner's mansion in Huyang City. Inside the Star Tower. 5-colored treasure medicine. Luo Feng's perfect divine body true body looked at the black bottle in front of him. His perfect divine body had long since recovered to its full state, and he was prepared to consume the treasure medicine with the perfect divine body. Come, let's see just how powerful this treasure medicine made from the heart of a sector beast above godly king level is. Luo Feng pulled the cork, pouring it directly into his mouth. Swoosh. When the liquid swirled out from the black bottle, it radiated 5-color radiance, and even faintly revealed the phantom of a sector beast, a figure that had a 70% resemblance to Morosa's true body. The treasure medicine liquid all entered his throat. As soon as it entered his throat, Luo Feng's face changed. Boom, boom, boom tilde tilde tilde. As if a vast universe had exploded within him, an endless and terrifying might instantly swept through his body, and even merged into his soul. This. Luo Feng was immensely shaken. On his path of cultivation, he seldom relied on external substances, and he had never used anything at the level of the 5-colored treasure medicine. At this moment, Luo Feng understood. This 5-colored treasure medicine had been well worth the purchase. I made the right choice, this treasure medicine was the right purchase. I am different now. Luo Feng could clearly feel a mysterious network of veins appearing inside his perfect divine body. This network seemed to be a new framework, transforming his perfect divine body. While his strength and speed had only increased by about 50 to 60%, it was still far from the effects experienced by a world life form. However, now that this new layer of veins was present within his perfect divine body, Luo Feng felt as if he himself had changed. Boom tilde tilde tilde, with a gentle wave of his hand, countless law secret patterns emerged, and the essence of the great Tao of destruction origin flowed naturally with his movements. This world is too filthy, and the source world too weary, it needs a thorough cleansing. At this moment, Luo Feng could even sense an instinctual desire. A desire to cleanse the source world thoroughly. There were so many weak life forms, the greater their number, the less opportunity these weaker beings had to grow. By significantly reducing their numbers, weak life forms would have access to more abundant resources and nourishment from heaven and earth, becoming more elite and outstanding. What am I thinking? Luo Feng's spiritual will was ultimately strong, and he immediately sensed something was amiss. My soul has also been affected by the power of the five-colored treasure medicine. Luo Feng noticed a mysterious rune structure within his soul, maintained by the power of the five-colored treasure medicine. This made Luo Feng's soul perfectly align with the great Tao of destruction origin, so that every motion naturally manipulated the mysteries of destruction. From my physical body to my soul, everything has become perfectly aligned with the great Tao of destruction origin, even giving me the instinct to cleanse the world. However, as long as the will is strong enough, these instincts can still be suppressed, Luo Feng thought. At this moment, Luo Feng also understood why sector beasts caused calamities, and even destroyed all living beings. Sector beasts were born from the great Tao of destruction origin. Compared to Luo Feng's current state, they were much more in harmony, for they had long since had cleansing the world ingrained in their souls. Only through soul enslavement could the instincts of sector beasts be suppressed. I'm now in a weakened state akin to a sector beast. Luo Feng stopped pondering and started to focus on cultivation. Because he could feel that both the vein network within his physical body and the rune structure within his soul were maintained by the power of the five-colored treasure medicine. Once it ended, this state would also come to an end. Luo Feng first contemplated the secret techniques in the special grade inheritance, chaotic whole beast body, of which he had already deduced 3 strikes. The first strike took the longest time to understand, and because of it, Luo Feng had comprehended all 6 branches of the path of destruction. The second and third strikes came much quicker. Isn't it quite simple? With the foundation of the first 3 strikes, Luo Feng gave it some thought, and the 4th, 5th, and 6th strikes were all deduced in a moment, without any obstacles. My past understanding of the great Tao of destruction origin was too naive. Destruction is not just destruction, it is also a form of cleansing, a rebirth. Luo Feng's perspective on the great Tao of destruction origin had changed, and with this shift in perspective, the difficulty of comprehension instantly decreased. Cleansing the world, clearing all things. Just annihilate these impurities. Then I should try to deduce the strongest secret technique, world unification, that can be understood at the first realm of Godly King, as recorded in the special grade inheritance, chaotic whole beast body. Luo Feng immediately decided. For the great Tao of life origin, Luo Feng had always been contemplating the 24 forms. For the great Tao of destruction origin, Luo Feng decided to deduce world unification. World unification. Luo Feng immersed himself in study, and a flood of insights surged forth. Luo Feng soon encountered various obstacles, but his current state was exceptional, and he kept breaking through the hurdles. The world unification secret method requires first establishing a foundation, then defining the 6 paths afterwards. With the perfect coordination of the 6 paths, everything can be brought to unity. Luo Feng wrestled with the complex secret technique, gradually grasping the essence of the entire method. Once he understood the essence, Luo Feng addressed the problems one by one and began to forge the foundation. Time passed, and Luo Feng quietly cultured himself, disengaging from the conflicts of the land of origin, cherishing each day sustained by the five-colored treasure medicine. Before long, 3 eons had passed. Inside the Star Tower. The power of the five-colored treasure medicine finally ran out, and the network within Luo Feng's perfect divine body and the rune structure in his soul collapsed in an instant. Luo Feng immediately felt a sharp estrangement from the great Tao of destruction origin, as the sense of being one with it was lost. Gone? Luo Feng was somewhat lost and disappointed. Having grown accustomed to the favor of the great Tao, returning to his previous level of perception was naturally uncomfortable. In these 3 eons, my comprehension of the great Tao of destruction origin has truly undergone a complete transformation. Luo Feng reflected on the gains of those 3 eons, realizing the tremendous strides he had made. In the outer layer of the dream realm, one of the spaces was enveloped by howling winds, with countless mountains and rocks standing tall. One large rock, subjected to the wind's erosion for a long stretch of time, suddenly. The large rock moved, naturally transforming into a figure with black scales and golden horns, which was none other than one of Luo Feng's 3 main avatars that occupied the outer layer of the dream realm. While the perfect divine body completely immersed itself in comprehending the great Tao of destruction origin, Luo Feng's other avatars were almost in a state of slumber. The cultivation with the five-colored treasure medicine is over. It's time to properly cultivate the spiritual will. Luo Feng's one avatar quietly left and swiftly proceeded on its journey. While dividing other avatars for reconnaissance, Luo Feng quickly arrived at the deep layers of the dream realm. The deep layers of the dream realm. Luo Feng could see a space ahead, even more dim and with faint thunder flashing. Whoosh, Luo Feng carefully flew into it. Indeed, it's the deep layers of the dream realm. Luo Feng felt a terrifying pressure acting upon his spirit, with layers upon layers of heart pressure enveloping him, seemingly endless, exhausting Luo Feng considerably. The ancient beings from the land of origin form teams, yet they seldom venture into the deep layers of the dream realm. Luo Feng was well aware of this. Only wills at the God King ultimate realm could maintain lucidity here, and most of the ancient beings also cultivated the primordial bloodline, needing to divert their attention to suppress the residual will within their bloodlines. So, to form a team where every member could traverse the deep layers of the dream realm. That was exceedingly difficult. For an individual to sneak into the deep layers of the dream realm, dealing with more powerful dream realm creatures, becomes very difficult. One of Luo Feng's avatars encountered 3 flame exotic beasts, each with a black body. Merely judging by their aura, each could rival the stone monster leader. One of the flame exotic beasts noticed Luo Feng and immediately whooshed into a clump of black flames, enveloping him. Escape. Luo Feng's one avatar immediately divided again into 10 smaller ones, scattering and fleeing. Phut. Soon, one of the avatars was trapped by the black flames, burned for a moment, and eventually was extinguished. The deep layers of the dream realm, the influence on the spiritual will is even greater, and the dream realm creatures are even more terrifying. But the treasures here are even more precious. Only, there are very few who have the capability to come here and harvest these treasures, Luo Feng thought to himself. Even emperors and monarchs, for the most part, needed to divert their attention to suppress the will of the bloodline, and not many were qualified to come here. Too dangerous. Luo Feng divided many avatars and briefly explored a portion of this deep dream realm space. With my current strength, I can't even grab a single treasure. In the middle layers of the dream realm, Luo Feng could still harvest treasures from a limited number of regions based on his abilities. The deep layers of the dream realm. A few random creatures could rival the teams from the reincarnation tower. Even some terrifying dream realm species, any true body of an emperor or monarch daring to enter might not be able to escape. These dream realm creatures all contain a trace of will but possess no soul. Luo Feng was also curious. Without souls, most dream realm creatures remained within their territories. Only a few would leave their domain due to special reasons, yet they could never leave this dream realm space. Over time, the dream realm space would change, dream realm creatures would perish, and new terrifying dream realm creatures would emerge. Dream realm, is it truly just a dream? Luo Feng pondered. Some powerhouses in the land of origin believed that the dream realm was merely a dream. A dream created by Yuan. Yet others objected, after all, they could enter with their true body and the wonders of heaven and earth they harvested could be used normally in the outside world. It was hard to explain with just a dream. This also made many powerhouses further revere Yuan. Let's do it here. After exploring the surrounding area, Luo Feng chose a secluded spot on the mountainside of a desolate mountain, sat down cross-legged, and naturally turned into an inert stone. Luo Feng then started to cultivate the Great Destruction Heart refining technique. In the deep layer of the dream realm, since Luo Feng was not seizing any treasures, and not provoking any dream realm creatures, merely cultivating here was quite safe. Rumble tilde. The pressure of the dream realm on the spiritual will was relentless and endless, and under this terrifying pressure, Luo Feng continued to sustain the Great Destruction Heart refining technique, causing an immediate surge in the pressure on his spiritual will. Hiss. Taking the 5-colored treasure medicine, and the enhancement in comprehending the Great Tao of Destruction origin, made the Great Destruction Heart refining technique also evolve, increasing its might substantially. HMPH. In an instant, Luo Feng felt extreme pain, extreme torment. Increased potency of the Great Destruction Heart refining technique, harsher conditions in the deep layers of the dream realm, dual refinement, truly uncomfortable. Luo Feng found every moment excruciating as his spiritual will seemed to be crushed to pieces and then congealed again. The Great Destruction Heart refining technique, indeed painful. Like the 7 emotions of heart refining technique, which refines the heart with emotions, and is a relatively pleasant experience during cultivation. But the 7 emotions of heart refining technique cannot be sustained for long. The Great Destruction Heart refining technique shows ordinary results in a short time, but has the advantage of being sustainable over the long haul. To have obtained the Lai Yuan technique, and to learn the Great Destruction Heart refining technique within it, I'm already fortunate. Luo Feng endured silently, and in the process of tempering, gradually discovered the many unstable thoughts of his spirit, relentlessly eroded time and again. In this ongoing process of destruction refinement, the erosion by the deep spatial layers of the dream realm also continued ceaselessly, and unbeknownst to him, the influence of the dream realm's erosion grew deeper. About half an era into Luo Feng's cultivation in the deep layer of the dream realm, his increasingly tired spirit was completely eroded by the dream realm. In an instant, Luo Feng fell into a deep sleep. At that moment, all his avatars in the outside world, including those in infinite space, also fell into slumber. Woo tilde. The piece of inert stone in the deep dream realm space became a complete stone. Luo Feng forgot who he was, as if he had turned into a massive creature flying through the air. What a mighty primordial life, accompanied by hearty laughter, a towering hand had already grabbed him. Luo Feng felt a fear emanating from the depths of his soul. He had no desire to resist, there was only fear and thoughts of escape. I must escape. Flee for my life. Ancestor, save me. A jumble of disordered thoughts. It seemed like Luo Feng had escaped that giant hand, but soon he was enveloped by a formation, and he escaped again. Another figure was in pursuit. This dream was twisted, as if he was constantly running, fleeing in terror. While asleep, Luo Feng lost control of himself and naturally stopped the Great Destruction Heart refining technique. His spiritual will had long reached the bottleneck limit of the godly king tier. Just under the mere deep layers of the dream domain, Luo Feng gradually began to awaken from the terrified flight in his dream. Am I dreaming? Luo Feng was astonished. Dreaming was such a distant concept for him. With his spiritual state, he should have perfectly mastered control over himself and not dream at all. I am Luo Feng. I am cultivating in the deep layers of the dream domain. Once Luo Feng became aware of his existence within the dream, he felt the dream start to shake and become unstable. This dream is interesting, stabilize it. Luo Feng tried to harmonize more with the dream. Because at this moment, the massive creature he had become was too vast, even more magnificent than the complete life origin Great Tao he had observed before, and it even carried a hint of the supreme rules. And the figures that seemed to chase after him from behind appeared even more terrifying than the entire source world. What is this? Luo Feng wanted to maintain the dream, but he eventually woke up. The longer he was awake, the more fragmented the dream became. Bang! Finally, the dream completely dissipated. In that space deep within the dream domain, on a barren mountain's mid-slope, a stubborn rock opened its eyes. I fell into a slumber, that dream just now. But Luo Feng found his memory of the dream to be very vague, only remembering that he had turned into a massive creature, only remembering that what chased him was terrifying. The appearance of the pursuer, Luo Feng could no longer recall. The methods they used, he also could not remember. How could I have such a dream? Luo Feng was somewhat puzzled. When other strong beings enter the dream domain, if they fall into slumber, it's very difficult for them to awaken. Either they rely on other strong beings to bring their true body out, or they have a lucky breakthrough in their spirit in the dream, but the odds of that are negligible. Luo Feng had consciously entered into spiritual cultivation here, which is what led to his slumber. But once asleep, he naturally stopped the great destruction heart refining technique. Given the real strength of his spiritual will, it was easy for him to regain consciousness. Cultivating for half an era, indeed, I'm somewhat fatigued. Time to rest for a while. Luo Feng immediately left the deep layers of the dream domain silently, and returned to the outer layers. Within the primordial cosmos, that mysterious land, Luo Feng's divine power incarnation was observing the complete life origin Great Tao before him. I didn't expect that in just 3 eras, with the help of the 5-colored treasure medicine, the accumulation of the Great Tao of destruction origin would be comparable to the Great Tao of life origin, Luo Feng thought. But once I use up the treasure medicine, the speed of cultivation will become very slow again. The path of life has the advantage of facing the Great Tao directly, always ensuring a higher efficiency in cultivation. There are only 2 doses of the 5-colored treasure medicine, and the boundary beast blood talisman is even more precious. Even with the status of my master, I can only exchange for 1, Luo Feng mused inwardly. The use of the boundary beast blood talisman must be even more prudent. Master Emperor Chu cultivated the Great Tao of destruction origin, which is why he could exchange for 1. It is possible that other emperors couldn't even make the exchange. As for Kuching God King, they didn't have the qualifications to see it. Whether it's the 5-colored treasure medicine, or the boundary beast blood talisman, they must be used at critical moments. Understanding the Great Tao, many of the superficial aspects are relatively easy to understand. Without using treasures, one could comprehend them over time. The real key things, the extremely difficult ones, might make one stuck for a long time. At such times, using a treasure is highly efficient. I'll take the 5-colored treasure medicine again in 30 eras, Luo Feng decided. The 5-colored treasure medicine is slightly less precious, after all, even a Kuching God King can exchange for it. With some extra effort, he should still be able to obtain a few more doses. But the boundary beast blood talisman, Luo Feng wanted to save it for use during the 2nd realm of Godly King stage to better charge towards the ultimate realm. Life and destruction, indeed, are quite distinct. Luo Feng faced the great Tao of life, and began to immerse himself in cultivation. Cultivation, after all, also requires a change of mind. If one hits a bottleneck in understanding destruction, try understanding life, then attempt life and destruction fusion, and then go back to comprehending destruction, the bottleneck might just loosen. Cultivation is about daily accumulation. In this way of cultivation, Luo Feng soon received a second invitation to action from Emperor Gui Shu. The most active members in the reincarnation tower now are Emperor Gui Shu, Wuxin God King, Luo Feng, and Cloud Sky God King. Since Cloud Sky God King only had one true body and was the weakest, he dared not venture into overly dangerous areas. Over the long years that followed, Gui Shu, Wuxin, and Luo Feng took action time and again. Cloud Sky God King would join them only when he was confident enough, whereas King Tiandu, Great Freedom Sovereign, and Black Fire Demon Lord only joined them occasionally. As for the strongest in the reincarnation tower, Wind City Empress and Earth God King, it was a rare occasion when they assembled a team. In these repeated actions, Luo Feng and the members of the reincarnation tower became increasingly acquainted. Huyang City, the headquarters of Blade River Sect. Brother Shinyu. Brother Shinyu. The disciples of Blade River Sect, upon seeing a young man in blue clothes, immediately called out respectfully. The young man carried a blade on his back, with a wind chime hanging on the handle, which made sounds when the wind blew. Since the establishment of Blade River Sect, the founder Luo He God King had only taken one direct disciple, this Brother Shinyu. Brother Shinyu also became one of the two major direct disciples under Luo He God King. Moreover, in terms of prestige, Brother Shinyu far exceeded the other master Moyu Qingyang. After all, in terms of talent, Brother Shinyu was much more dazzling. Elder Luo Sa. Shinyu spotted a powerful presence immediately, and respectfully greeted him. The Blade River Sect was managed by two elders, the original elder and Elder Luo Sa. Shinyu, how was your journey out? Morosa looked at this young junior with mixed emotions. I have accumulated enough, and have returned to prepare for the breakthrough to the primal chaos realm, Shinyu respectfully said. Morosa nodded slightly, joyful, with your accumulation, it is indeed about time. Hurry and break through, once you do, you will be the first disciple from the Blade River Sect to reach the primal chaos realm. Yes. Shinyu bowed respectfully and then left. Morosa watched Shinyu's retreating figure. The gap is too big, Morosa murmured to himself, my poor Qingyang, simply no match. This was one of the most dazzling and talented individuals from numerous elites in the hundreds of surrounding primal chaos prefectures. Even Luo Feng was quite satisfied, specially selecting him as a second disciple. In terms of talent, he was much stronger than the original divine monarch Shuiyun. Qingyang also tries hard, and I've tried my best to help him, but even with the bloodline path, he is still far from making a breakthrough. Morosa shook his head. Yet this Shinyu, born in a weak tribe, managed to cultivate into one of the unlimited godly bodies. Following the path of laws, his accumulation is now immensely profound, and he has comprehended many moves of the primal chaos realm. No matter how one compared, the gap was too large. Yet Morosa favored Qingyang, as he had raised him from a true god step by step. Back then, by the master's side, there was only one servant, one disciple. Am I not good at cultivation myself? Or is it my teaching that fails? Morosa muttered to himself, well, if I really can't cultivate Qingyang, then I can only rely on myself. The stronger I become, the more secure Qingyang's position will be. If I can reach the ultimate realm, I won't need to hide anymore. Qingyang, being a direct disciple of an ultimate realm beast, I believe he would also be quite formidable, Morosa thought delightedly. After all, Moyu Qingyang had two masters, the great master Luo He and the second master himself, Luo Sa. But to reach the ultimate realm, constantly absorbing the power of heaven and earth, how long would that take? Morosa thought for a moment, then immediately went to the city owner's mansion to find his master. In a pavilion of the city owner's mansion, Luo Feng sat high in a black robe. Master, Morosa hurried over. Rushing over from the Blade River sect in such a hurry, is there something urgent? Luo Feng smiled at him. Master, the little fellow Xinyu returned from his journey and said he's going to seclude himself for the breakthrough to the primal chaos realm, Morosa said. He indeed has the potential of a godly king. Reaching the primal chaos realm is a minor matter, Luo Feng said. Even in the internal rankings of Blade River sect, despite outstanding performances, most would at most become registered disciples of Luo Feng. Among the various registered disciples, Luo Feng chose Xinyu as his direct disciple. Born humble, with an unlimited godly body, exceptional comprehension, and strong spiritual will, in all aspects, one could say he was a diluted version of himself. In terms of godly body and spiritual will, to compare at the same level with himself was a bit unfair to the disciple, but Xinyu's conditions already showed the potential of a godly king. The little guy is about to break through, yet I have always been unable to. Morosa looked at Luo Feng and transmitted his thoughts. Master, the Blade River sect has been established for over a century now, and my progress has been minimal. Absorbing the power of heaven and earth at such a slow rate, when will I reach the second realm? When will I reach the ultimate realm? Luo Feng smiled at Morosa, understanding what he meant. Morosa also wanted some resources. Don't be in a hurry, Luo Feng said. I'm not in a hurry, but only when I'm strong can I better help you, Master, Morosa transmitted. There will be good news soon, Luo Feng said. Morosa's eyes lit up immediately. Master, you mean? Just what you think, Luo Feng waved his hand. All right, you also hurry off to cultivate. In terms of cultivation, you need to put more effort into it yourself. Understood, Morosa responded verbally, then immediately retreated. Cultivation. He had tried cultivating himself, but only felt utterly confused. It was most comfortable to just lie flat and grow naturally. I have done everything I could with the 24 forms biological materials parts of the corpses. Luo Feng was somewhat exhausted. Now it all depends on Brother Blackfire. Since the time, over a century ago, he met his master Emperor Chu, Luo Feng had been wanting parts of the 24 forms biological materials. He'd been pushing this matter forward, but at the flame-wind ancient countryside, cultivating primordial bloodline creatures was inherently weak. The more elite the primordial bloodline creatures, the stricter the guarding, and even his master Emperor Chu couldn't get the materials, as everything had to follow the ancient country's rules. Luo He. Luo Feng suddenly received a message from the Black Fire Demon Lord. Black Fire Demon Lord rallied a large number of godly kings, with enmities, against Thunder Ancient Country to form a significant power. If the Mother River Master, that leads the Life Mother River, is a force-resisting flame-wind ancient country, then the Black Fire Demon Lord leading the Black Fire Gate, is a force-resisting Thunder ancient country. Although not as prominent as the Life Mother River, the Black Fire Gate is still formidable. Black Fire Demon Lord could even bring out the Earth God King, in critical moments to come to his aid. Inside the Reincarnation Tower, Black Fire Demon Lord met Luo Feng. Luo He, the Black Fire Demon Lord, was quite handsome with flame-like secret patterns on his face, leading an influential force against Thunder Ancient Country. Despite opposing such a powerful entity, he cordially befriended various dispersed godly kings, earning a remarkably good reputation. Luo Feng had once discussed 24 forms biological materials in the Reincarnation Tower, asking if other members could provide any help, and the Black Fire Demon Lord offered to give it a try. Brother Blackfire, do you have news for me? Luo Feng asked in surprise. Ha ha. I've always said that when it comes to familiarity with the royal family godly king of thunder ancient country, I am second to none on the land of origin, the black fire demon lord said with a smile. He was an early guest elder godly king of the thunder ancient country, and was already in the second realm of godly king at that time. Ambitious, he aimed to become a monarch. In terms of merit points, he had accrued countless merit points for thunder ancient country, far surpassing those of the royal family godly kings. Yet, merely because he was a guest elder godly king, he could never access the resources to become a monarch. After long suffering, he finally resolved to steal a portion of primordial bloodline to become a monarch, but ultimately failed and could only flee thunder ancient country. But the black fire demon lord had strong social skills. Many godly kings within thunder ancient country were his close friends, as were many enact godly kings. This was one of the reasons his black fire gate continued to exist until now. Despite thunder ancient country consistently putting a bounty on his head, many godly kings cultivating primordial bloodline remained unconcerned and frequently associated with the black fire demon lord. Your matter is settled, Black Fire Demon Lord said with a smile. Luo Feng's eyes brightened. A 24 forms primordial bloodline creature, approximately 1/10 of the corpse, said the Black Fire Demon Lord. It has been quietly moved out. You can exchange it for treasures worth 3 billion merit points, which is within your budget, right? Brother Black Fire, thank you so much, Luo Feng said excitedly. It was extremely difficult. Flame Wind Ancient Country required 10 billion merit points, not a bit less. In Thunder Ancient Country, Luo Feng had tried visiting some guest elder godly kings and royal family godly kings, all of whom asked for a significantly higher price. He also visited Jiaoyin godly king, who could provide complete primordial bloodline for 6,500 million merit points worth of treasures, but the price was the same even for only the materials. As for obtaining a smaller amount of materials, Thunder Ancient Country had strict controls. Such high-level primordial bloodline materials were directly managed by the monarch's avatars. Over more than a century, Luo Feng had participated in every operation in the Reincarnation Tower. But considering even the crazed nature of Emperor Gui Shu and others, operations only occurred once every dozen or so years, amassing a total of 5 billion merit points worth of treasures for Luo Feng. And the Boundary Beast Blood Talisman had consumed another billion merit points. Luo Feng had about 4 billion merit points available. Luo Feng had even prepared to wait until he had gathered more merit points before making any plans. Let me be clear beforehand, it's only 1/10 of the corpse, and you can't extract a complete primordial bloodline from it, Black Fire Demon Lord said. But you were already willing to accept just a part. A complete corpse could typically yield 3 to 5 complete primordial bloodlines. No problem, responded Luo Feng. How this 1/10 of the body came about, you don't need to ask. Right now, I'll deliver this body to your Huyang city, and we can exchange there, Black Fire Demon Lord said. All right, Luo Feng said gratefully. In the city owner's mansion of Huyang City, Luo Feng waited eagerly. Whoosh! A figure descended from the void, suddenly appearing nearby. It was Black Fire Demon Lord. His handsome face had a charm akin to that of a true sector beast. Brother Black Fire, Luo Feng was very grateful, having planned for this material for too long. Take a careful look at the 1/10 of the body, Black Fire Demon Lord said, setting a cloth bag on the table, as Luo Feng also placed a jade vial on the table. Luo Feng inspected the cloth bag. The bag concealed a space inside, containing a huge tail billions of miles long, likely the remaining tip of a complete tail. There was also a massive, mountain-like half a hoof with scales, the flesh emitting a thick and potent aroma, and imbued with terrifying spiritual will. It also contained a massive disarray of scales, muscles, bones, and blood. Luo Feng estimated this was 1/10 of a body remaining after extracting the primordial bloodline. 3 billion merit points. Black Fire Demon Lord, holding the jade vial, couldn't help but look at Luo Feng. Luo He, my brother, you've given too much. I'm buying Brother Black Fire some drinks, Luo Feng said with a smile. Black Fire Demon Lord was always reluctant to ask for any benefits, but the effort he put into securing the 1/10 of the body from the strictly managed Thunder Ancient Country over 30 years must have not been easy. Giving an extra 20 or 30 million merit points was really nothing. All right then, Black Fire Demon Lord chuckled. He was willing to help Luo Feng and didn't care about these resources. This video will end here.